Previously on building Brickmania's B-17G World War II heavy bomber, we built bags 1 through 3, which were the nose, the left wing, and the right wing.
Holly and Mauricio here. We're going to continue the building process with bag number 4, which you see here. And it looks like it's going to be a good chunk of the fuselage. So we're going to let Holly open this thing up and do her sorting thing.
Yes! I have completed the sorting, and it was fun.
We wanted to show you a few special pieces which we've pulled aside separately, and here they are.
One is the flux capacitor, we think. We've never seen it before.
The flux capacitor. No, I don't think that's what it is, but we've actually never seen that piece before, and we're very curious in any kit, and we're very curious to see where that fits into this particular one. And we also have 5 more minifigures, the other 5, so this will be all of them at this point. We have 4 enlisted and 1 officer. Again, the only difference is that hat. To the right there of that officer is I guess the radio stack. So these are custom printed pieces that came with this kit, and we figured we'd show them to you now because once they're in the plane, they're going to be kind of hard to see. But when we get to that part, we'll show you where they go. And
then the element that had me screaming across the house for him to come, the ammo containers.
So yeah, look at that. The ammo containers, it says on it, Cal 50 linked. So there's going to be 2 machine guns on the sides, the waist guns of the plane, and presumably those will go with that. There's also a tail gun and a ball turret, but this probably goes with the waist guns. And speaking of guns, we have guns. So you'll notice 2 little baggies. They're kind of overlapping there, but 2 little baggies with brick arms elements. That's the way they came in the baggies. We'll show them later, I guess, when we get to that part of the plane. And then we've got 4 50 caliber barrels, similar to what you saw in the chin turret earlier in the build.
Air-cooled ones.
So yeah, those are some of the special pieces, and so this is everything for bag number 4, and let's get started. Here we are at the end of step 10, and the fuselage is taking shape. So we have also been, the instructions had us put in these 2 guys, which are almost certainly the waist gunners, left and right.
We're working on sort of the midsection of the plane, if you're kind of following along what a plane looks like. And we also appear to have the radio section, and there is a little teeny tiny desk on the plane for the radio guy to work at, and big huge array of radio, because of course they built bigger back in those days.
We're also going to put on this side, so these are 2 matching sides. On the left and the right has this little assembly that you put together that will get attached right here. There you go. So yeah, so far so good. We're going to keep going. This is now the end of step 10. So we're going to keep going from step 10 and check back in a couple of pages. And here we are at the end of step number 11. Now, we previously finished step 10, so you're probably wondering how did we do all this in one step. Well, for whatever reason, this part, which is part of the tail, got its own steps 1 through 10. Or 12 actually, and with red numbering. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but here it is, and you can tell because we have here the tail gunner.
And he is in want of a gun.
Yes, he needs a gun. So he's in there pretty tight. In fact, what I'm going to show you here is attaching the tail gun. One cool aspect of this is that there's a little ball joint in there, so this can swivel like that.
Love the functionality on this. Again, probably don't want to turn a child loose with it, but nonetheless, very cool.
So we're gonna, it's a very tight fit, but there it is. He is probably not coming out of there anytime soon. As an affordance to help get him out, I guess you can take off this piece here, but to make it possible, they gave us this, which is a hinge. So what we can do is stick that on top. But before we did that, we want to show you that we managed to find, you may remember from that last video, there was a piece that, it was the incorrect piece, same size and almost exactly the same shape, but the incorrect piece, but we managed to make a substitution. There were several of the correct pieces here in this part, and you'll notice right there, is the incorrect piece from the previous bag. We did a swap, so
Yeah.
now the engine cowling is back how it should be.
Yes, so they don't owe us anything from the good folks at Brickmania. Don't owe us anything, but we just wanted to let you know.
So that's that. And I realize now I did this this bit wrong. We'll swivel that around. But yeah, that's how the tail gunner is fitting in there. So you can take this piece off, basically take out a section of the wall, and then sort of swivel that open, and then I think you can get him out. Yeah, so this goes back on like so.
Yes, that does look clever.
Yeah, and he's in there real tight. So you'll also notice that there is a sort of a nice tapering here from here out. And now what we're going to do is attach this tail section to the rest of the fuselage we've built so far. You will notice, worth pointing out now, is that we have placed the radio operator there in front of his radio. And also we have, this guy is the ball turret gunner. So here are the two pieces. They're strangely, like here, you'll notice this is quite asymmetrical. I imagine that's going to get symmetrical later. I'm not sure why that is so far, but we shall see. Here it is also not quite symmetrical, but we're going to attach them like so. It seems strange assembled, but there it is. And you can, again, make out that sort of gentle taper from here all the way out. So presumably we're going to fill in these gaps here and maybe some more over here. So with that, we're going to keep going. Okay, a couple of pages later, and you'll notice not much progress on the model itself because we have two things to attach. That's what we've been building. First is the tail gear. And we figured out what this piece is. It turns out it is called a linear actuator. It does what it sort of says in its name. So as you turn this end, this orange pin, it projects in and out. So that's actually used for the tail gear. This piece has been in about 20 different Technic sets over, I think, since 2011. So I wanted to show you how this goes in here, and this actually explains why it's not symmetric, right? There was an opening on this side. You actually need that opening to fit this in here. It's a very tight fit. So the way this works is it attaches on the axle here and on this the blue part. So you have to have it actually extended a certain distance for it to get in there. So and then you push, and as you can see, it just barely fits in that gap that was made for it, and that's all going to get closed up. And I can demonstrate here how the tail gear goes in and out. So I'm twisting it obviously on the other side. So that is it fully inside the fuselage, and then it can push out. I'll show you how far it goes to about there. We've used the word clever several times in these videos, but it's worth repeating again. Pretty clever. The second thing we built is actually some more of the skin of the plane, as well as a 50 caliber machine gun.
And so this is one of the 50 caliber machine guns that goes in place at the waist gun. And let me tell you, at Bomber Camp, we got to use those firing blanks out the window, and it's loud, but boy, is it a lot of fun.
So that's it for this. Let's keep on going. Okay, and we are done with bag 4. Here's what we get. As you can see, the fuselage is now closed up around here. And we've also added the bombs, or at least 3 of the bombs. There will be a 4th one shortly. I guess it's worth showing now. This it's a little weird how this is attached. It's kind of swings around. Obviously, it's going to attach to the plane here somehow, and this will attach to the front of the plane. But right now, it's just a little awkward to work with, so it's good to keep it flat.
But very cute to see little tiny bombs.
So while we're talking about bombs, we thought we would show you how to build one. So these are the parts for the bomb. This is a little black pin goes in here, and we'll just do it real quick.
The gray piece goes in the side.
Yellow in here.
You're gonna put the gray piece on the side.
Let's see what else that goes there. This is how it attaches to the bomb rack.
Don't forget the nose to trigger.
And ta-da, there's a teeny little bomb.
Now, we had these at Bomber Camp. There, of course, we were using concrete ones, which I can't remember how much they weighed, but they were incredibly heavy. And so it took more than one person to load them, and so loading them on the plane was interesting. They had specific equipment to do that.
It was exhausting and very, very hot. We got a little bit of a taste of what the real crews might have had to do. So there you go. There's all 4 bombs in the rack. I also wanted to show you here the 2 waist gunners right next to each other. So the gunners had to be quite careful about running into each other as they swung the machine guns around in the air in combat. Especially when they're connected to the electric heaters. They had to wear their oxygen masks. It's quite remarkable what they had to do. These 2 gunners, that is basically the only way they will fit. The way you see there, it's a very tight fit. They can't really be right in front of the guns. The guns are almost running into each other here. So that's the way it has to be for the Lego model. In fact, I think once this thing is all closed up, it's going to be really hard to get them out, in and out, so playability may be a concern. I'll also show you how the landing gear, or the rear wheel goes in and out. It's they put this screw on the axle here. This gear, little Technic gear on the axle, so you can twist it. It looks a little bit strange, obviously, and maybe you can take it off if you're showing it off, or maybe even, if you don't care about the gear, you can plug that up. But so this, you can just twist this, and the tail wheel will very slowly come out as I twist this.
I liked how they did it. I mean, it's
very clever, very clever. And then, of course, this will swing around. So now what we're going to do is stick it onto the rest of the plane, and I think we're going to have to zoom out for that. And here she is, all put together. We had to move it onto the floor because it was sort of too big for the table and to get the camera far enough away. You'll notice that there's these plastic lids underneath the wings. We found that it sort of flexes in a weird way. We don't want to have that pressure on the attachment points. So we're sort of propping the wings up a little bit at an angle by putting those plastic lids under them. So let's zoom in for a closer look. The bombs are right here. That's the bomb bay. And there's actually, in the real plane, it's not represented here, but in the real plane, there's a narrow space between the 2 racks of bombs. That's how you walk from the back of the plane to the front and the other way.
It's kind of a catwalk, and it's sort of a narrow space. And if you can imagine these guys, who are probably fit and thin, with all their heavy gear, trying to go from forward to back, and then you're looking down and you're seeing bombs in the bay as you're walking. It's kind of an interesting space.
Yeah, you probably don't want to be in there when the doors are open and look down. This is a good time to talk about the typical bomb load for a B-17. So for a short-range mission where you didn't need to carry so much fuel, you could do 8,000 pounds of bombs. For a long-range mission, which is maybe what this is representing, you could do 4,000 pounds because you need some more weight for fuel. So that would be 4 1,000-pound bombs in this case. But they could be smaller. They could be 500 pounds or 250 pounds and so forth. You'll see the space where the ball turret is going to go, that open space there.
In the radio area. And yeah, that's my favorite part of the plane. That's going to be, I guess, the next bag, but we're looking forward to that.
So this was pretty tricky to attach. It is, it attaches, I think, in 5 points, sort of here, and then 2 down below, underneath here, and then this axle that goes that sort of flimsy axle you saw earlier goes here. But to pick this thing up you have to be very careful. Honestly, I don't think you can do it just one person. You'll probably have to put it on a board to pick it up and move it around if you are doing this alone. So one of us sort of held the wings and the other one of us held the tail to sort of keep it from flexing too much. I assume that once all of this is covered over, it'll be a little more secure and the landing gear's in. So yeah, that's the end of bag number 4. We are now going to get the next bag done, in fact, the final bag. So stay tuned for the last episode of our build series, and thanks for watching.